When you think of an inhaler, you probably picture something for asthma, right? A simple little device. But what if I told you that the technology hidden inside that piece of plastic is about to kickstart a massive medical revolution? Okay, let's get into this because the future of medicine might honestly be just a single breath away. Just think about this for a second. Imagine a world with fewer needles, fewer pills, a world where we can deliver powerful direct treatments for some of our toughest diseases. And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi fantasy. This is the incredible potential of the technology we're going to break down today, the dry powder inhaler. Forever, our options have been kind of clunky. On one side, you've got traditional delivery. Pills have to survive your stomach acid. Needles, well, they're needles. They're uncomfortable and carry risks. And both methods often flood your whole system with a drug, causing side effects everywhere. But then, there's the pulmonary route. Your lungs have this massive surface area. It's like a superhighway straight into your bloodstream. It's not invasive, it's targeted, and it's incredibly elegant. So, how do we actually tap into this amazing system? Well, that brings us to the star of our show today, the dry powder inhaler, or DPI. Let's get a really clear idea of what we're talking about here. So, a dry powder inhaler, or DPI, is pretty much what it sounds like. It turns a dose of medicine into a superfine, breathable powder. And by getting it straight to the lungs, it completely bypasses the digestive system, so it doesn't get broken down by the liver. This means the drug can either work right there in the lungs or get absorbed super fast into the bloodstream. It's just incredibly efficient. And the perks? Oh, they just keep coming. Unlike those old-school inhalers that use greenhouse gases, DPIs are way more eco-friendly. They're super simple, portable, and you don't need to plug them in like a nebulizer. Because the medicine is dry, it's way more stable and less likely to get contaminated. And, let's be honest, for millions of people, it's a much friendlier option than a needle. Okay, this all sounds fantastic, right? But it begs a really big question. How in the world do you turn these complex modern medicines into a powder that can actually be inhaled effectively? This is where we get into the really cool part, the science of smart powders. I mean, think about it. We're not talking about simple stuff like aspirin here. We are talking about unbelievably delicate and complex things. Proteins, peptides, even mRNA. These molecules are famous for being unstable. They can just fall apart or clump together, which makes them totally useless. So the huge challenge for scientists was this. How do you engineer these fragile medicines so they can fly deep into the lungs without getting destroyed? The solution is just brilliant. It's something called carrier particles. And you can literally think of them as these microscopic sugar chauffeurs, usually made from something simple like lactose. What happens is the tiny drug particles basically piggyback on these bigger sugar particles. This gives the whole package the perfect size and weight to be carried by your breath way down deep into your lungs. Once it gets there, the drug hops off the chauffeur and gets to work. So, how do they actually make these smart powders? One of the coolest methods is called spray drying. It's this super elegant 4-step dance. First, they dissolve the drug and its carrier in a liquid. Second, they atomize that liquid, basically spray it as a superfine mist into a chamber. Third, a blast of hot air instantly vaporizes all the liquid. And voila, you're left with these perfectly formed microscopic powder particles, all ready to be collected. And this is what you get. Check this out. Under a microscope, you can see the results of all that engineering. By just tweaking the process, scientists can create totally different structures. On the right, you have these perfect, smooth little spheres from spray drying. But a different technique creates the porous, web-like structures on the left. And this isn't random. Every single shape is precisely designed for a specific job, whether that's for long-term stability or for getting absorbed super quickly. All right, so we've got the device, we've got these incredible smart powders. Now, this is where things get really exciting. This is where we go way beyond asthma and step right into a genuine medical revolution. This tech is blowing the doors open for treating some of the toughest diseases out there. We're talking about inhaled antibiotics to fight drug-resistant infections right where they are. Needle-free insulin for diabetes. Targeted anti-cancer drugs that go straight to lung tumors with minimal side effects. And get this, inhalable mRNA for vaccines and gene therapy. The list of possibilities is just staggering. Let's dive into some mind-blowing examples. First up, we're taking on one of the planet's biggest killers, multi-drug-resistant tuberculosis. Scientists have developed an inhalable powder that delivers a powerful 1-2 punch of an antibiotic and other antimicrobial agents. It gets this combination therapy deep into the lung tissue, hitting the infection right where it lives. It's an absolutely brilliant strategy. And if you want to talk about the absolute cutting edge, here it is. These powders can protect and deliver something as fragile as mRNA. You can see the proof right here. Those glowing spots show that the genetic code has been successfully delivered into the lung cells. The cells then read that code and start making the protein we want. This is a total game changer for future vaccines and a whole new world of genetic medicine. Okay, now this next one is it's so clever. It's called a proliposomal powder. The particles are designed to be totally inert while they're dry, but the second they touch the moisture in your lungs, they spontaneously self-assemble into these tiny protective bubbles. These bubbles then trap the drug inside, creating a sort of smart bomb that can deliver its payload right to a stubborn infection. So, wow, the potential here is just massive, right? We've seen how it works, what it can do, but what's next? What's standing in the way of this becoming an everyday reality? Look, like with any big leap forward, there are still some hurdles to clear. For one, the effectiveness really depends on the patient using the inhaler correctly, so training is absolutely key. Scientists are also working around the clock to make sure these incredibly fragile medicines can last for a long time on a pharmacy shelf. And of course, figuring out how to scale up these super precise manufacturing processes to make enough for everyone is a huge engineering puzzle. But here's the thing. Every single one of those challenges is being tackled with some seriously brilliant innovation. So the next time you see a simple inhaler, don't just see a piece of plastic. See the extraordinary science packed inside. It represents a huge shift in how we think about medicine. We really are standing on the edge of a new era, one where the next great medical breakthrough might not be a pill or a shot, but a single deep breath.